Well, Laura Loomer has proven herself to be just another Zionist who does not care whatsoever for Palestinian children and their suffering and their pain and their death. She takes credit for blocking a small group of less than a dozen Gazan severely injured children from entering the United States for medical treatment. And we're talking very severely harmed children, injured children, children who have severe burns all over their bodies, children who are missing arms or legs or both, children who are they still are riddled with shrapnel. They are needing treatment. They've been able to get out of Gaza somehow for this treatment, and charity groups have brought them here to the United States for this treatment. And Laura Loomer, rather than allowing these children to come over with some of their siblings and family members temporarily, they go back to the Middle East when all the treatment is over. They're not here in the United States to settle. They're not refugees coming here. They're just here for treatment. And rather than just give the help that's needed to these children, Laura Loomer instead takes credit for blocking them, for talking to the State Department and getting them to revoke the visa entries for these severely injured children. Here's Laura Loomer's tweet. She says, breaking, following the release of, let me just pull this up full here. Following the release of my reports yesterday exposing flights of Gazans arriving at airports all across the U.S., the U.S. State Department just announced that all visitor visas for individuals from Gaza are being stopped while the U.S. State Department conducts a full and thorough review of the process and procedures used to issue a small number of temporary medical humanitarian visas in recent days. This is fantastic news, says Loomer. Thank you, Secretary Rubio, for your prompt response to this invasion of our country by NGOs that have been accused of being pro-Hamas. Hopefully all Gazans will be added to President Trump's travel ban. How despicable of a person do you need to be in order to prevent the very small number of Gazans, under a dozen, from coming into the United States? Here is for treatment. Here is Marco Rubio responding to this.
Why did the State Department just announce that they're halting visitor visas for all Gazans coming here for medical aid? Why would some of these kids, for example, who are coming to hospitals for treatment be a threat?
Well, first of all, it's not just kids. It's a bunch of adults that are accompanying them. Second, we had outreach from multiple congressional offices asking questions about it. And so we're going to reevaluate how those visas are being granted, not just to the children, but how those visas are being granted to the people who are accompanying them. And by the way, to some of the organizations that are facilitating it. There is evidence been presented to us by numerous congressional offices that some of the organizations bragging about and involved in acquiring these visas have strong links to terrorist groups like Hamas. And so we are not going to be in partnership with groups that are friendly with Hamas. So we're going to pause those visas. There was just a small number of them issued to children, but they come with adults accompanying them, obviously. And we are going to pause this program and reevaluate how those visas are being vetted and what relationship, if any, has there been by these organizations to the process of acquiring those visas. We're not going to be in partnership with groups that have links or sympathies towards Hamas.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, we have to leave it there.
Let me just show you. This is my friend Blanche Shaheen. She's one of the people involved in this organization, and she's shown this video of the children being received at the San Francisco airport. And I just want to say, Blanche is a Christian Palestinian. A lot of these Palestinian organizations that are helping getting these kids out are Christian Palestinians. So for Rubio to be thinking, saying they're connected to Hamas, they're pro-Hamas, it is just flat out bullshit is what it is. And it's just playing to the Laura Loomers of the world who just, the Israelis and the Zionists who've shown to have absolutely no care and concern for human beings, lives of human beings. They view all Palestinians as parasites. And this is the video that Blanche, this is part of the video, and you can actually see this on her YouTube channel called Feast in the Middle East, which she does a lot of great cooking. She has cookbooks, and she's just fantastic. But this is her video showcasing what they're doing so that you get a better idea of who Marco Rubio just blocked from allowing treatment here in the United States.
Hi everybody, it's me, Blanche. Welcome back to Feast in the Middle East. I'm actually in a weird, unlikely place. I'm at the San Francisco airport garage about to greet a child from Gaza. Now, Heal Palestine is an incredible organization. They have done so much in such a short period of time, and they've managed to smuggle 11 children out of Gaza that have severe injuries that are in need of treatment. And they just got to Jordan literally last weekend, and they're being flown to cities all across America. I can only imagine how overwhelming this is going to be for these kids. I mean, they've never left Gaza their entire lives. They've been under siege since the moment that they were born, and they've only known an existence of bombs and drones and lack of food. Most of them are malnourished. Children are dying of starvation at an alarming rate because they're the most vulnerable and they need the most calories in order to grow. So I just hope that this child is okay with all of us welcoming him today. But I just wanted to take you on this journey with me. I'm looking for rays of light in this darkness. So come on with me in this journey. Let's head over to the elevator and meet little Anas. Okay, so Anas just arrived on the flight. It's going to be a smaller group today and a much larger group of people to welcome them tomorrow. But Anas has arrived, and we are going to form a welcome committee for him. I'm just so worried. I hope he's not freaked out by all of us here. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so this is a group of Palestinians. There's a big group, a big community in San Francisco. The mixture, most of them, I believe, are Christian Palestinians in San Francisco. I could be wrong on that, but a lot of Christian Palestinians, Muslim Palestinians, all of them together to welcome these children who are coming to the United States. And, you would think that, imagine, you're in Gaza and your family's being blown up, you're being blown up, you're being shot at or injured by the IDF. You know that the Americans are paying for this. And so with that, then you get sent to the United States for treatment. That is going to help you not hate America in the end. This type of program helps these Palestinian kids not grow up to, if Marco Rubio is so worried about terrorism, well, then how about we combat terrorism by showing that the United States is a humanitarian country that does love children and that does want to care for them, especially these severely injured ones, that we have a heart. I mean, look at these children with missing legs. They're coming here for treatment. And Laura Loomer is blocking this from happening because she freaked out and she just thinks these are a bunch of terrorists because every Palestinian to her is Hamas. And it's not just her, right? I mean, it's a lot of Zionists who believe that, and that's why they're complicit and committing genocide. Every single one of them that has this viewpoint is 1,000% complicit in a genocide. Laura Loomer is complicit in a genocide, bottom line. And she's complicit in preventing these children from gaining the treatment that they need here in the United States. And she could say, well, send them to some other country. Well, which country would be acceptable to you? And if we have humanitarian organizations here who want to treat these children, then it is none of your business who these humanitarian organizations want to help. Taking away the choice of Americans to help who they want to help. That's what the Zionists do. I think all of us are in agreement at this point that Zionists are the most despicable people on earth. There's no way else to say it anymore. They're the most despicable people on the planet. They've proven it. The Israelis, you've got Israelis that 79% of Israelis, even though most of them want the end of the war, at this point, we're seeing massive protests marching all through Tel Aviv. The Israelis are saying they want the end of the war. They want the end of Netanyahu. But you ask those same Israelis, 60% of Israelis want an end to the war. But 79% of Israelis, which includes most of those 60%, 79% has said that they have no care for the pain and suffering of Palestinian people. They don't care. They want the war to end for their own selfish reasons. But they don't care about the pain and suffering of Palestinians. To them, Palestinians are parasites. That's what they think. They think that they're just bugs to be squashed. We don't care about them. Exterminate them. That's fine. I just wish that we would end the war. Well, how? End the war with expulsion. That's what they're thinking in their minds. Just proving to be the most despicable people on earth. And I think that anybody who blocks the treatment of these children, What are these one-legged children going to do, or kids missing legs? What are they going to do to you, Laura Loomer? You think that they're actually going to commit an act of terror against you? And then Marco Rubio says, well, they're coming with adults. Well, right. I mean, are we going to send children here without adults? Maybe they could have their one adult family member come with them to help them heal through their medical journey here in the United States. I mean, just the insanity, the absurdity, and the inhumanity of all of this is just really, honestly, some of the most disgusting things. And I've had Laura on the show. I like her viewpoints on some things, but this is a red line, I think, for many of us when it comes to supporting genocide, being on the side of genocide, being on the side of killing and maiming children. Being on that side is the wrong side of history, and you never recover from that. I don't care if you have a lot of great ideas. Hitler had a lot of great ideas. We're not allowed to say that, are we? No, we're not. Right? We're not. We have to just condemn him as a person entirely, completely, because of the genocide he committed. And you know what? Fair enough. But that means we got to do the same thing to the rest of you. If you support genocide, I don't care if you had one good idea or 3 good ideas. None of your good ideas matter. None of them. Because you are complicit in genocide, and you are complicit in preventing these children who have been blown to bits by your people, by people you support for a cause you love. You've prevented them from coming to this country for treatment. You should be just totally and utterly ashamed of yourself. I've never wanted the existence of hell more than I've ever wanted it. Now, I don't really believe in any of that, but sometimes I think maybe I should. It's kind of like death penalty. And I don't believe in the death penalty, but there are some cases you hear about that are just so heinous that you think, but in this case, I kind of think the death penalty. And, this is how I'm feeling about heaven and hell. At this point, I really hope there's a hell. And I really hope a lot of people end up there and they end up shocked. How did I end up here? Well, you supported killing children in an ethnic cleansing and genocide campaign. Did you think you wouldn't end up here? Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.